"11 dead on a Venezuelan boat. War crimes accused. Vance doesn't care. I don't give a shit." One tweet ignites fury, shatters norms, and throws America's military power into the spotlight. The world watches as lines between crime, justice, and war blur before our eyes. In the latest online clash over US military power, US Vice President J.D. Vance has ignited a firestorm with his remarks on targeting drug cartels. Vance made a tweet praising the recent US airstrike that took out what Trump and his administration claim was a Venezuelan boat carrying drugs and drug smugglers.
Killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military.
Vance's comments drew swift backlash. Political commentator Brian Krasenstein shot back.
"Killing the citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime."
Vance, unbothered, doubled down. He dismissed the criticism, saying bluntly that he doesn't give a damn what anyone calls it.
"I don't give a shit what you call it."
Vance then sharpened his attack on Democrats, accusing them of wanting to send American soldiers to die in Russia, while Republicans, he insisted, are focused on defending the homeland from what he described as the scum of the earth.
Democrats: "Let's send your kids to die in Russia." Republicans: "Actually, let's protect our people from the scum of the earth."
The exchange reflects a deeper political divide: how America should wield its military power. Vance's camp frames cartel violence as a direct national security threat demanding decisive force, while critics argue such a policy would shred international norms, spark diplomatic crises, and risk escalating into wider conflicts. The recent US military strike on a Venezuelan boat in the Caribbean, ordered by Trump, has sparked intense debates over its legality under both US and international law. The strike killed 11 alleged members of the Venezuelan Tren de Aragua cartel, accused by the US of narcotics trafficking targeting the United States. However, the Trump administration has not provided clear legal justification for the action beyond citing the president's Article 2 constitutional authority and framing the target as narco-terrorists, potentially merging narco-trafficking with counter-terrorism frameworks. Experts express skepticism, noting that US domestic law may not broadly authorize such a lethal strike without congressional approval or a clear imminent threat. Likewise, international law, especially maritime law, prohibits interference with vessels in international waters except under specific conditions like hot pursuit or imminent self-defense, neither of which appears conclusively demonstrated in this case. Maritime law experts question the proportionality and necessity of using lethal force rather than non-lethal measures to stop the boat. Former State Department lawyer Brian Finucane criticized the strike as a performative and gratuitous use of military power, highlighting concerns that the Trump administration is repurposing global counterterrorism rhetoric to justify extrajudicial killings in Latin America. He referred to the legality justification as legal mad libs, indicating the administration's shifting rationales lack solid legal grounding. Senator Lindsey Graham praised the strike, calling it the ultimate and most welcome sign that we have a new sheriff in town, signaling political support among some Republicans for a hardline stance against drug cartels. Meanwhile, others warn the operation may set a dangerous precedent for unauthorized military actions and exacerbate regional instability. Overall, legal scholars and international law experts widely suspect that the strike likely violated both US statutory limits and international legal norms, raising concerns about accountability and the expansion of executive military powers in fighting transnational crime. After the deadly US military strike on the Venezuelan boat, Trump sent a letter to Congress to justify the operation legally. In this letter, Trump's administration asserted that the strike was conducted under the President's Article 2 constitutional authority, which grants the executive broad powers as Commander-in-Chief to act in defense of the nation. The letter claimed that the vessel was attacked beyond the territorial seas of any nation and was assessed to be affiliated with a designated terrorist organization, specifically the Venezuelan criminal group Tren de Aragua, known for narcotic trafficking. The administration argued that the strike was an exercise of the United States' inherent right of self-defense under international law against imminent threats. Trump framed the strike as necessary to protect the United States from the trafficking of illegal drugs, including fentanyl, that posed an immediate threat to American lives. The letter emphasized that the US military operation took place in international waters and was not an act of war against Venezuela, but a targeted lethal action against a criminal and terrorist threat. Additionally, the letter was sent within 48 hours of the strike as mandated by law to notify Congress when US armed forces are introduced into hostilities. The letter highlighted the administration's perspective that this operation marked a new, more aggressive phase in the US campaign against drug cartels operating from Venezuela and was a warning to anyone attempting to traffic drugs into the United States. However, the letter and the strike it justifies remain controversial, with many legal experts questioning whether the president has the authority to conduct such a lethal strike unilaterally without congressional authorization or clearer evidence of an imminent threat. Trump's letter serves as the first formal and public legal rationale for the strike, offering a view into how his administration is expanding executive military power to combat narcotics trafficking beyond traditional law enforcement methods.